not working, eh? Third house for me, so, you know, with the eclipse. You probably can't see my bloody head because of this. Excuse me, French. Let's have a look at where the cycle of the Twin Flame Collective is at. Let's have a look. It's interesting, you know, whenever I'm doing a live, the title comes to me psychically. And this morning it was, where is the runner chaser? Okay, where's the runner chaser? And look, we're always running. All right, we're chasing dreams, we're running. And it will be yin to the yang, both energies. I do feel at the moment, feminines are in a little bit of fair-based frequency relating to their own personal masculine. But revelations through the eclipse are coming, okay? So it's almost like we're having this understanding as to things that we need to do, things that we need to take control back of in our life. And I might turn that computer off so my face isn't shining, you know? The runner chaser happens inside us. It doesn't have to be in the journey. You know? We've always got a runner chaser. What are we running to? What are we, you know? And I'm sitting now, my head's shiny. We'll deal with it. Okay, there's healing between both connections at the moment, but there's healing within the yin and yang. We have our medicine. I knew this was going to come up in the read. That's why I wrote it. You'd be like, YILDIZ, what are you on about? Runner chaser? Remember, we just came out of the eclipse in Sagittarius. And we're moving towards the next cycle. But, you know, as we're closing these cycles out, not always is it happening straight away. Not always do we know what those things are. And you can always refer back to your astrology I did with the tarot. And you can talk about the house placement. You can be in awareness of where Aries and Chiron is. I might talk about that a little bit in the reading. And that's due to the fact that each time Mars is transiting, I'm noticing it's also linking to Aries in Chiron. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. Okay, masculines have warrior of the heart. And they have inner child in reverse. They may be feeling, which is perfectly normal, a little bit fatigued due to the fact that the yellow chakra is in reverse. But there also could be something to do with a family-related dynamic that, you know, is in reverse at the moment. Let's see what's coming up. Interesting. Foundation. What's the foundation for masculine, please? You'll see them in a minute. I'm like, don't stress, divinely guided. Feminine's energy is really interesting. Okay, heart, foundation for the connection together. We'll look at the external energy as well, but I'll more than likely be able to channel it. Okay. Okay, so for some, I'm going to pull the cards for the external energies. This can be circumstances, work, we'll see what comes through. The external energies relating to masculines. This has been coming up a lot lately. Okay, there's deep revelations coming up in masculine's mind, and this is relating to the past. This is relating to third-party energies, conflicts of interest. I do feel, it's funny because warrior of the heart, yes, in the past, these might have been things that were really worrying them, really stressing them, and they may have had a fixation of belief or a value that they had to adhere to a particular cycle. At the moment, it's coming across, it can come across very cold-hearted, but this isn't directly towards divine feminine. This is to do with the cycle in their own personal lives. It's almost like to them, the emotion that was guiding them to do whatever it was they were doing, they don't have that correlating feeling any longer. So the reversal of the yellow chakra, I'm not feeling They had one perspective at one point, but more than likely, because we have Jupiter and Pisces, they're seeing the writing on the wall and they're realizing that that was more about, how do I put it? Maybe more about the other energies than them, and maybe it was their value systems and paradigms, but I'm feeling they're not resonating with it anymore because they have the inner child, and they're not feeling attracted to this path, okay? And I don't mean with the twin flame connection, I mean more whatever they were doing. It does feel as though it was a lot of stress. And I did say for a lot of us after the eclipse, because masculine's inner connection are relating to the sacral chakra, is the joint chakra between both. But you also have the fact that Mars is transiting zodiac signs, and funny enough, it's in the house of Cancer, which is in a child. So tribe and pack and energy and the things. So again, it's the conditioning is really changing now. Their viewpoint and values is really changing. Where it did stress them before, they're icy cold towards it. Now, yes, that can be a delay of emotions, but again, I'm really not picking that. I'm picking more, it's an acceptance of something. It might be that their demeanor is to let go of it because it wasn't serving them, and I'll pull a clarifier on it. But the way, due to the fact Jupiter's in Pisces, they're psychologically looking at where it was really stressful. Even if it was a value system, they wish the best for these circumstances. Whatever the situation was, it has been extremely taxing, emotional, and fatiguing, and it really hasn't served them. Okay, what is the circumstance, please? And I've pulled the energy for external, which is, it can be a workplace, can be a family-related dynamic. Yeah, they just want a fresh start. They've had it. They want a fresh start. They're really fatigued. They did everything they could to try and make this balanced. They were trying to be fair, compassionate, and understanding to all involved, or whatever this situation was, and they did attempt. But no matter what they were doing to try and create the balance, psychologically, I feel they're spiritually coming to terms with this. It's some pure acceptance. So their demeanor towards those energies can be very cold at the moment. Now, I have pulled the cards for, you know, what's going on in that cycle over there, and it's prayer feather in reverse. It's like, in their mind, they're looking at it like it can't be healed, it can't be repaired. They're in acceptance of it. And they've had sharp clarity of mind of these situations. And it took a lot of energy to be able to deal with these circumstances, to be able to handle the stress levels, the you know, no, this is what I have to do. I really have to do this. And I feel they've got the clarity of mind. I do feel this is where the separation came from, but I also feel for some this is separation of connections, karmics. Again, all of this from what is coming through psychically is really a lot of conditioning. So where you may have felt you knew habits relating to these individuals, they really have learnt a great deal towards these circumstances, and they don't resonate with it anymore. So it is a separation. You know, there was a lot of control. There's been a lot of jealousy. This could even be betrayals, you know. Felt that they were cheating themselves out of a happier life due to the circumstances that were happening, and maybe they ended up with these individuals through such. But at the same time, the same thing, it's sort of like you spiritually understand when we're accepting less, but giving more, it does become spiritually taxing, and you do realize you have to have the courage to walk out the door. And I feel for many masculines, they have walked away from these scenarios. And for some that hadn't been, you know, in a toxic cycle at a workplace, a family, or whatever this situation was, it almost feels it just doesn't resonate. Hi, sweet. It doesn't resonate. You know, they tapped into the emotions during the eclipse. And I feel this was, for a lot of us, I really do feel some of these psychic downloads we were having and these emotions, it was more relating to 2 weeks prior. I feel a lot of us were going through an emotional purge. Now, I feel them to be very quiet, and I feel as though they felt they were juggling and cheating themselves out of a connection that was really... not, and you know, this come up between Twin and I the last week, really. We've been talking about want and need. You never want to be needed. Okay, needed is codependent. Needed is, I need you to pay the bills. I need you to be here, because it's codependency. To actually be desired and wanted, to be the give and take and the connection. This is really what they're seeking at the moment. From this situation, I don't feel they've experienced that. They were hopeful that this would occur. So they want to be wanted, not needed. Yeah, so the back and forward, this is good. I do feel the energies around them have treated them this way as well. Yeah, tribe, family, conditioning. We've all been here. So they've moved away from these people because they feel these people aren't healthy. Okay. They're finding their pace. They're ascending into what is going to make them happy, and this is going to make them extremely successful in their life. I do feel they're going to use these lessons in a very positive way. I feel they're going to really invest in people that are investing in them, but they're very different. They're totally different people. So Zen Garden, in their heart, you know, they weren't at peace, and these were situations maybe stemming from... Now, when we say inner child wounds, sometimes we can have really toxic things happen to us in our childhood, okay? And whatever that was, be it that there was lack of energy coming from mother or father, this could have been money, finances, it might have been psychological warfare, whatever it was, it affected their path moving forward. A lot of times we tend to meet the right person at the wrong time. And I feel this, you know, the road to least resistance is they're in this acceptance that, you know, really casting a critical eye on the reality of behavior. And a lot of times I know through my ascension path, I didn't actually know I was doing things. And it wasn't until I discovered you know, looking at the patterns, looking at healthy boundaries, because these individuals, due to conditioning and family paradigms, felt that this was what their role was. So it wasn't something that feminines you could actually teach them. And for a lot of what you guys have learned, you know, no matter what you do, you can't remove a wound from a human being. You can activate it. And as they directly experience certain situations, they can then spiritually come to terms with it. I do feel psychically they're very grounded now, and I do feel they're having a lot of dream states. I also feel they are seeing and sensing that the steps that they're taking in their life are extremely healthy. And in their mind, I'm seeing this at 41, which is the 1-400, which is showing me their direct foundation and the steps they're taking are divinely guided. And it is for them to reach union with self so that they can be a whole individual. Yeah, definitely ascension. You know, there was a song prior to my union that I kept hearing, and it was Return to Innocence, and I just heard that in my head. It feels as though, again, the ascension process, it was like there wasn't a solution in their mind, again, because of conditioning and what they felt they had to do. They were being very strict with themselves. And I do feel, in a way, feminines, you need to look at this masculine side of the read, because there can be circumstances that are playing out that are extremely similar in our own lives, but it's more our working life, maybe directly connected to our family, choosing what we feel is spiritually correct for us. There's not always a perfect scenario, and sometimes we actually don't know what to do. Sometimes, due to conditioning and our value systems, very much Sagittarius energy, we see the beauty in all people, and we take on these roles in society. And there's a lot of lineage here, okay? There's a lot of lineage. So we're both energetically going through it. And it can feel disrespectful to dishonor this, but it's a bit like, as we say, the analogy, if a plane's going down, thanks, sweet, if a plane's going down, you know, what do? Do we help everyone and then be MIA, or do we put the mask on and then go to directly help? And I feel this is what they've come to terms with. It really wasn't in their heart chakra that they wanted to hurt people. I feel due to circumstances and their conditioning, this is the revelation that they're having in their mind. You guys, feminines, you can feel a little bit confused at the moment. Helicopter. Okay, so you're really not knowing what you're going to do. Now, if you were... sometimes we can move through this situation where we're sitting and we're waiting ducks, and there may be things playing out that you could potentially be avoiding, and that could be jobs, it could be moving home, it could be directly dealing with, you know, our family-related dynamics. I'll pull a chakra card. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, the connections in our circle, you know, the power that we have within our circle. Some of you are considering entertaining a connection, but it's also the relationship we hold with ourselves, because the shadow is the relationship we hold with ourselves, is really of the utmost of importance. It's that self-love. It's the things that we tell ourselves of who we are and where we're going in life. And I do sense this confusion. So this can be bringing up a lot of anger if you feel that you're not on mission and you're not on path. And this could be directly directed at masculine. And it's actually saying that this path is divinely guided and it is on point and on time. You may not be feeling such, but because you're feeling it's not, there's something that's coming up in your life that you're not actually directly looking at, which could be blocking you moving forward. I do feel these challenges that we're having to address can be individual for each zodiac. Yeah, this can be self-worth. Makes sense. Self-worth. When I say money, it always comes back to energy. It's not finances, okay? It is, how do you feel about yourself? Nobody else can tell you that you're good or bad, right? It's a belief. It's an embodied belief. And I had this come up prior to the eclipse. I had to do a little bit of shadow work. And for me, it was the value inside, again, conditioning, childhood, conflict relating to childhood and rivalry with siblings. Who's better, who's not? And this was coming up in conversation pieces through the family, through Chinese whispers. And it was funny because then I regressed, and spiritually speaking, growing up, never felt that angst towards siblings, but the seed was planted through family, and probably really unconsciously so. So it did come up, and, there was a point there for a while I thought I had an eating disorder, and it was because I had this unhealthy relationship with food, body image, things to that degree. So I had to look at that shadow and say to myself, okay, you're not in victim consciousness. Nothing that's truly yours will ever get taken from you. If you have an issue with it, go and do something about it. And that's the self-empowerment. So it could be for some of you feeling, and we do go through this, but like, when are they coming so we can start our life? When are we coming so we can have kids? Whatever this is, we all have the free power and will to actually address some of these things. And spiritually, 9 times out of 10, the blockage is there's a challenge in front of us, but because we haven't actually tackled it, and it can be creating healthy boundaries with friends, family, going and getting that job, doing those things, getting that house. When we don't do that, that's actually part of our spiritual path. And the reason why we are not enabled by masculine, but we enable, is because we're being taught energetically to actually help ourselves. This is so that when you come back, the codependency isn't there. And I know this from my journey, being in union, is that you then are lighter within the vibration and you flow more effectively. But if you shift too much of the focus onto it, it goes out of balance. So both parties really, to dance that dance, do need to have that self-awareness and, that value inside. So you do become the condiment to the connection, not just the, can you come and save me? It just doesn't work that way. It's crazy why, but from my experience over, 25 years, it just does not. Now, what you're seeing, appreciation, spiritual and emotional reconnection. Whatever is hindering you psychologically inside relating to this is the shadow work. So when it comes up, it is, once you can diffuse that wound, nobody can ever affect that wound again. It's there, it's happened, it's the past, but it's still directly impacting you. Whatever that is, by looking at that shadow, and I always say move into it, move into the wound. And that's so that you are definitely, it's poking it, but as you do it and you look at it from a different angle, you're going to find it so desensitized that it just doesn't directly affect you. Why do we go through such long periods of celibacy? You don't have to go 2 to 10 years of no intimacy. It depends on, how do I put it? What I tend to find in the journey is, if you are giving your energy intimately to a person that is of a different level in a frequency sense, if you have a lot of upgrades, spiritually speaking, if you're pouring energy into your career sector and the things you need to address, you're going to have the movement and ascension. You will. And you'll have the direct union. If you're not, if you're psychologically thinking about another person from the past, separate to your twin, the blockage is there. That's the work that needs to be done. And that's why things don't move, because we have a fixed belief. It's energy, it's manifestation. So it directly depends on what is coming up for you. Sometimes when feminines or masculines are single and the other one's coupled, you're psychologically actually thinking about another situation, 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. So the runner chaser mode happens throughout the connection and reconnection. Until we can address our shadow, reconnection won't happen. Although this is a time when communication is coming in and you have an opportunity to reconcile. When you do get to a point in your ascension, you won't be able to run in the connection. So when you do come into reconciliation, it's almost like you're stuck. You just keep doing the work. It won't, it's like you've reached too far in it and you just won't be able to go anywhere. It's strange. Till you clear that out. There's something you guys aren't wanting to look at. Okay, you can be intimate with people, but once you've reached a certain point in ascension, you choose not to because you feel it's a waste of energy. If anything, you pour it into your career, you pour it into exercise, you're doing things that are more productive. If you choose to, it's a choice, and it needs to be very reciprocal on the other human being's point, but you never cannot get entwined with people's energy. So it's a pure choice, and it's more from a spiritual point of view than anything. So there's something you're not wanting to look at, but there directly is healing between both energies. And I feel this is almost coming up because you guys are coming into communication for many of you. There's something that is asking both of you to liberate yourself. One, feminine's within your emotions, and one, masculine is doing this in the 3D. So it's like you guys are swapping. This energy always swaps. You do the 3D and then you're doing the 5D. Masculine's done the inner energy. This was a masculine moon, but within our own lives, feminine, there's a masculine element of our life that we need to directly address. Once that test is passed, movement will happen. And I've had many twins that have been contacting me and saying they have communication and movement. Okay, liberation, breaking free from a negative attachment in the heart. Do the heart chakra. As we move over into June, we're having Mars move into Leo, which is higher heart chakra. Now, Aries and Chiron, it's going to be in our third eye. I get all these weird messages. It's going to be third eye activation, but it's also going to be heart chakra. The foundation. Okay, most of you are feeling, both of you need, there's something foundation related. I'm going to pull a clarifier on that because that's interesting. There's something that needs to, okay. Interesting. Okay, stubborns, what's going on? Who's been thinking in the house about where would you live? What would happen? Is it home? Okay, what's going on with your heads? I need to understand this. This is interesting. Are you tuning into the future and you're like, okay, well, where would we live? What would be safe? What would be within my control-related dynamics, folks? Answer that call. There's two stubborns here. There's two stubborns. No, you need to come to me. No, you need to come to me. Let go of that. There's no he's right, she's right. It's I'm getting my amethyst. Okay, between both parties, masculine may be actually leaving a vibration, a house, a connection, a home, or this may be something to do with home and accommodation, where you live, where they live. And again, remember, you both come from different value systems, but you'll be so surprised how similar you are. That can be attachment. You know, when you are like tuning into it, it can actually block it because you're controlling it. You're doing the masculine. Address it when it comes in. If you're tuning into it, you're actually blocking it, okay? You live in a tent. I used to say that to my twin, I live in a bloody tent with you. I did change my tune to do with that. We're in caravans. I'm not pretentious. I really don't care. It keeps coming up, but I wasn't thinking about that at all, which is weird. Well, it's saying to do, you guys are looking at the foundation, which is home. It's a family-related dynamic. It's location-related. You're problem-solving through your mind's eye, which is then, how do I put it? What I've always found is when you're doing that, you're not in the present moment. And when you're doing that, you're actually doing the other energies work. And you can't do that because what it does is block it. It's like you need to, it's so hard. I wish to say something on here, but it's not appropriate. Give the masculine's bits back, okay? If it's something in your own life you need to do, this is where the feminine needs to be receptive. If you need to make a choice, you can make a choice at any time. It is your power, your choice. Circle of concern. Energy is fluid. Your twin will always find you. You'll laugh at me. Hey, we laugh about this now. We do. We can laugh at each other. They can find you, okay? Friends, family, phone numbers, they'll find you. They always do. There's something here. You're tuning into it. Let them handle it. If you're saying they can't do this, they can't do that, where do you feel in your life that there's something you can't do? Because there's the mirror there. Do you feel you can't address the circumstances in your life? So, in ego, you're getting angry at them when you're really angry at yourself. I've so been there. Man, I got a list. I got paper. And I have to say, shout out to Jen and Lucian. I love those human beings to bits. They came into my life. Your guides will always come to you at the right time. Now, they did energy work with me. Gosh, I must be stubborn bloody. So I must be that Scorpio North Node. And so when my triggers would come up, they'd go, you're an ego, YILDIZ. But that's the mirror. And I'm going, salt the mirror. I don't fly a fly with the mirror. Because when you're hurt, the wound is activated. You can't really, it's like talking to an intoxicated person. Okay? You can't get in. When you're calm enough and you're willing to do the work because you want some sense of reprieve from ascension, you'll listen. When you want some movement in your life and happiness, you will listen. Because I got to that point. I was like, heck, I'll try anything. It's a bit like when you're a parent and your parents saying, you won't listen to me, and I told you to keep taking the baby back to the room. And it's like, I'll try bloody anything because I want that kid to go to bed. You make that sacrifice because you want movement. The sacrifices we have to make right now may be get a piece of paper, cut it in half. Them, you. Okay? Them, you. What do you think they need to do? What are you? They do this, they do. Yeah, go and get your purge out, write it bloody down. Weird. Then do yours. How you do that in your life somewhere. I swear it works. If there's codependency, where are you codependent? If there's addictive tendencies, what are you addicted to? That can be enabling, helping. Giving your power away to your family and not, sorry, I've got some bills to pay, I can't do that. Oh, maybe next week. Healthy boundaries. Write the list, go and have a look. Your energy's joint. Yin to the yang is emotions versus 3D. 3D versus emotions. They're both linked, yin to the yang. The fears of commitment, maybe you're thinking they're scared, but right now I do think both. But I do think it's coming from feminine. Now, you do not need to be scared if you faced your shadow, because you can at any time say no. But if opportunities are coming, make sure you're not, and this is not, I'm not trying to be rude, wrong card. I'm not trying to be rude. If you want the connection, but you're mad, have you healed enough? Because how's that going to work? You know what I mean? And the shadow, like when I heard a twin reading one time, and they said, which you do have to desensitize the wound enough that you can be open to that human being coming in without you, and I'm not saying you won't want to have conversations and things like that. That's natural, that's normal. But to have aggression and to have happiness at, a hell maybe they're experiencing. Tit for tat is childhood stuff, and do you actually then want that connection back? None of us actually intentionally choose to hurt another individual. Through our conditioning and the ways we are, we do such, if it's your twin, right? And yes, how do you know it's your twin? I so have to do those videos. It doesn't look like a soulmate energy, I'll say that, okay? Even with all the crap that happened to mine, would I ever want him to be alone? Unhappy? No. Did I get to a humble place I could say if he was going to be happy with another person, I'll be okay? 100%. Especially on the ascension path, just to have some sanity, thank you. I'm like, dude, once you guys purge something, you're in the thick, you're purging, you come back up again. Give it 2 weeks, you're going to be back down again because your ascension is joint. That's why. So at the moment, there's a little bit of fear going on, okay? There is healing, though. The good thing is, what's coming up spiritually is shadow work. We're doing healing. We're moving through it. There's anticipation. There's excitement. But then there's fear because of the unknown. So at the heart of it, it's, are you ready? Are you ready? And it's like, if your twin turned up, masculine or feminine, how would you feel right now? In your head, some of you are thinking this person's not ready. Well, from what I'm seeing and what I've been seeing with my private reads, especially what I've been hearing from my large clientele group, they are having communication with masculine. And some feminine, because I do have, twins that are masculines and feminines. I do have, vice versa, feminine. There is something where, done on it straight, this is a connection. Whether you want to pee in your pocket or not. Both of you are in awareness of what this connection is. It's there. Both of you know. Now, this is what both parties want from the past. You both wanted that. You both wanted that. Currently, many of you are in separation. But are we separate or are we separated from self? The emotional body or the 3D? Okay, there's something here. There's a reason. The unexpected joy was, yes, you were happy when you met them. Values. Okay? Values are coming up again. Values were an issue. Now, after this separation occurs, and I don't think this is about you, feminine and masculine. I feel this is to do with the energies we're moving out. It's to do with self-worth. I think that's the blockage at the moment. There's something we're both needing to shift in order to own your truth. It's not to do with jealousy. It's to do with, okay, I need to address my elephant in my room, whatever that is. This will be where the rebuild is. And I do recall a beautiful lady, Ascension Tarot. She did talk about on the journey. And oh gosh, those of you that have been following me for almost 5 years, I remember coming out in a tie and I let it rip one day. I was like, this is the way it is. Jeez. Whew. It's cringeworthy, but the inner truth had never been spoken. And it was, you can't expect another person to hear you out if you can't hear yourself. So always promote the journaling. And when something comes up, to love yourself and just be, it's okay that you're feeling crappy today. It's okay that you're feeling bitter today. Because somebody's got to acknowledge it, and definitely ourselves. A lot of times we're placing other people's energy ahead of ourselves. Some of us are parents, and it's in our work life, and then it's in our family life. And if you continually do that, it does become very taxing. And so the aggression and the anger then can be projected towards another energy because we allowed it, right? So there is an emotion coming up between both parties, but there's a lot of healing spiritually. Yeah. I did. At times I would sit there and go, okay, and that was because of Jen and Luciana. Thank God for them, or you guys wouldn't have met me. The way I have shifted in my life is because of them. I have gratitude to them, and my girlfriend Lauren, she helped me too. I've got lots of people that help me, my clients. But the shifting of the wounds is one of the hardest things I can say I've ever done in my life. Probably even worse than childbirth. Definitely. Definitely. Probably, which is really sad, probably even harder than parenthood. Yeah. Facing a shadow. Doing the purging. Or grabbing all that crap that we swept under the carpet. Picking it back up and going, what? Did that come up? Oh, okay. Now, if you don't address the elephant in the room, thanks, Shelley, for that one. I love it. What is coming from behind you is the past to revisit so that you can let something go. Is it going to be intense? Yes. If you start doing those things now, it's going to flow. If you don't, it's still going to happen. It's still coming. There's something to be shifted. These can be some challenges that we're needing to address, and I'd say it's between now and the 14th. Yep, you're not seeing it coming. I'll keep you on the road, woman. I've got a third house, and a car almost hit me yesterday. I was like, fucking third house? The woman looked at me like, I am so sorry. And I went, Mercury retrograde eclipse in the third house. Heck. So close. Are you happy? Okay. Are you happy? What's taking you to happiness? There's something to do with your energy and feeling connected. And I'm telling you, this has been coming up with so many of my clients. Family. Mars and Cancer. Something's shifting. You feel it's there forever. We're never here forever. None of us, we might reincarnate, but we're not here forever. Something's shifting. Whether we want it or not. Your energy is going to be used on something. Something's shifting. Any questions? I'm going to pull a card for movement for masculine. And a card for movement for feminine. Ascension. There's a quiet before the movement. Feminines. And karmic energy in the middle. Why so many? I think it's more subjects will come up. I don't see this as the karmic energy. I see this as a conversation piece. I'm going to... Okay. They're recouping at the moment. Third-party energy is gone. They're moving to their happiness, but this is something that they know this is going to make them happy. So there is a recuperation going on for masculines. I'm telling you. Yep. Change in ship. Very tired. Okay. Came up again. Change in ship. Communication about this karmic cycle. How you want to move forward. Balancing it. Pausing before you deal with it. But definitely once the understanding between both parties is there, there's movement. In your own masculine energies, feminine, I would say that you are a bit hot. And what do I mean by that? Yeah, of course you're attractive. Okay, they're attracted to you. But we're a bit in the masculine at the moment. Okay, moving to the feminine. We're a bit in the masculine, and that can be very guarded. Healthy boundaries are always best advice I had. Asking for a friend. I'll have a look in a minute. Yeah, in the, how do I put it? Yeah, bit heated, bit tonguey, bit tongue in cheek. Can be, look, this can be in our own lives. But this can be really throat chakra, okay? Have I been there? Yeah. And then I was perplexed because masculine was really relaxed and it was like, yes, I know. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was like, huh? Anywho, they're recovering. They're tired. But they're waiting to take their plan of action. Yes, they've changed their plans. Regretful for what was done to you, but willing to bring you this happiness, okay? You guys, you got family-related dynamics going on. Self-worth, lineage, a bit of paranoia, though. Okay, Giggle, you asked a question. What's going on with yours? And then I better get on to the Earth, Air, Fire, Water, Twin Flame videos. I had a very busy morning in the morning. Have lunch and I'll do it. Oh, you lucky woman, Emperor. Level up, level up. Need I say more? Are you ready? She asked me years ago, how would you feel if your twin turned up now? Oh, I threw up. I was like, huh? Oh, anxiety, such nervousness. You ask her. She looked in my face. We were sitting on the step out the front. And I was like, ooh. Nerves. That's when I knew I had to look at my shadow. Shelley will do the same. I can't wait. It's your turn. I'm going to give you help. She'll be like, Yildiz, it would be 3 o'clock in the morning. She'll be calling me. Yildiz, he's here. Hey, that'll be the toilet call, you know, and she's like, Yildiz, he's here. Brown paper bag. Her jaw, no, she wouldn't get to call me. Her jaw would fall out of her face. It would be like on the floor and she'd be like, she's probably laughing right now. She'd be like, yeah. Yes. Yes. With your foot scraper. Meh. Oh, Lord. Any other questions? Any other super chats? Don't mind me today. Sorry. I was late today, Mercury retrograde. Yes, future tanks, once I get... I've been thinking about you this morning, Stella. I thought, come on, through my ascension path, I never bloody slept. So surely people are on here, you know? Surely people are awake right now. Can't sleep thinking about your twin, watching paint dry. Crickets. I'm not going to. Oh, heck, how stubborn, right? Working, I know you are, dull. I was thinking about it on the way home and I'm like, Stella, did you hear me? I was like, Stella. Yes, surely can, sweet. Just because I love you so much. Oh my God, I was just doing it almost. Shelley, I told Shelley that I did my feet the other day, but I went too far. So, you know, I had this beautiful cream and I put it on my feet and I wrapped my sock to make it, you know, go okay. Let's see, Stella. I was thinking about, yeah, how do I put it? I was thinking about it this morning, Stella. And I was like, why do we do what we do, Stella? You got into a comfortable space and you had convinced yourself. You're like, but it's the energy for you is going to become, if it hasn't already, very emotional. Because emotionally speaking, that eclipse in Sagittarius was, you know, how do I put it? Psychologically, like I said on Instagram, it's a little bit like we're in soul marriages and we're getting paranoid because Mercury is retrograde. Have we heard from them? And then you go and chuck the eclipse in. It's like you had a divorce with your twin. Because psychologically, you're looking at the shadow. So you feel, you're like, except, you know, when you get into that comfortableness, You're accepting where life is, but then the emotion comes up and you feel it's a betrayal of your truth. That's because the eclipse in Sagittarius is asking you to address truth. It's what you want, not what you feel from a paradigm point of view of what you're meant to be in your life, what your heart truly is asking. So it's been emotional for you, Stella, because this has been, it's like, do I need to address something? Do I need to do something? Is that, am I willing to, and I had to ask myself this question, do I feel I've spiritually done enough? If I was to pass, would I be content with my efforts? And that was my shadow. At the moment, I'd say, your masculine is very sad, very emotional, and that's where the energy is coming from, but it's also the angst, okay? And it's because you're not hearing anything. I feel there's guardedness. No, he's not mad, doll, but he's very quiet. He's very reflective because, he's feeling your energy. But he also knows that both parties are going to have to make a major decision and it will be huge. That's what's coming through. But there is this privacy. And hey, look, both of you overall are doing similar things like money, balance, that's coming up. But avoiding a tower. But you know it would make you happy. Do you know what I mean? Who was the other person who asked? Leo next. How you doing, sweet? Do you feel better after the webinar? Or you were like, Yildiz. Good. Yeah. Stella. Let's see what your twin's thinking. They think that you're mad at them over the betrayal. And they also think that you won't forgive them due to that, and you keep bringing it up. And they're like, well, what am I supposed to do? They are feeling as though there's issues with family at the moment. They're being patient, but they're waiting for you to lower your sword. They're like, how do I get in? You won't let me. Every time I talk to you, you won't let me in. He's like, in order to move forward, yes, we can talk about it, but if it's every day, it's not moving forward. My twin system, we do not, if we talk about it, it's more in a calm energy. But Leo next, this is more, he feels that he's finding it tough because every time he's trying to, put an olive leaf out, he feels that you're bringing it up. All right. Emmy doll, how you doing, beautiful? Update with your counterpart, Michelle. I'll have a look. But yeah, he feels a bit guarded, Leonix. He's like, how the heck do I talk? I see a phone call coming in, but it depends on whether you'll respond. When you actually look at psychology, it happened to you, but it wasn't about you. And then you kind of look at it like, why did you do that to yourself, masculine or feminine? When you're personalizing it, you're giving it power, you're feeding the devil. Betrayals aren't about you. Betrayals are a breakdown in communication and a person's inability to create healthy boundaries and be in their truth. And when we need more, we get more. When we're enabling, we lack the confidence inside the connections. I've had heaps of it. I've had it happen over and over again. And then when I looked at the shadow, it wasn't about me. I'm like, come, do you do? Desensitize the wound and it won't affect you. Hi, psychic. Okay. 1 minute, who have I got? Okay, Michelle. Hurt relating to this situation not coming full circle. I feel they've left some things. Like this can be, if there was a karmic, I feel there's people they're moving around in their life, but this is friends. This is, I feel there's some sense of conflict. There's a bit of anger. I don't know why I see something legal. And that legal situation has been a bit financially taxing on them. I don't feel they're that impressed. Towards you, I don't feel they have any angst. There's melancholia, but definitely regrets. But this has been quite taxing on them spiritually. I feel it's, yeah, just not really, how would I explain it? Yeah, they didn't see it. They didn't see people through the same eyes they do now. And so some of their friendship groups have been really shady. Some of their friendship groups have really not treated them all that well. And I did feel a while ago that these people were like family, and it doesn't feel that way now. I feel this cycle's actually closing out. So whatever it is from a legal point of view, it's like there's just acceptance. It's like, oh, good riddance. It's like it's done. But it's sad, but it's like at the same time, it's almost like relieved. This is where the person's actually moving forward. There's much regret, but they're almost relieved. That's what I would say. Emmy doll. Who's next? Emmy doll? Feel like something's going to happen this weekend. Well, it's funny. It's more to do with your work you don't want to. Is it to do with work or is it to do with twin? I'd say, Michelle, still dealing with this circumstance, but not yet. Couple of weeks, maybe not yet. This is a bit livid here, okay? You don't want to go back to work. But, is it because of work or is it because of emotions? You're still quite adjusting. But you may feel like, how am I going to feel if I do see that person? That's kind of what I'm feeling. You jump between two paradigms that if you were to see them, yeah, if you do see them, it's almost like you're like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do for me? Can you buy me chocolates? Can you buy me diamonds? Give me babies? You're going to buy me a Lamborghini? That's kind of... It's like, what will you do for me? Not what have you done for me lately. It's more, what will... You're so sassy at the moment. It's bloody Librinia, I'm telling you. Trust the gut feeling. That's what I'll say. But it's also, look at the shadow. It's showing you something about how you feel now. When we're in ego, we're like, I'm going to go do what I want to do. And then we're like, yeah, well, how would it be if they were in front of you? And then you're like, ugh. You're most welcome, Emmy doll. Who did I miss? Did I miss anyone? Nope. You would throw up. I just see your knees shaking. You're like, that face. Okay, I better love you and leave yous. And get into the Earth, Air, Fire, Water. Thanks, Giggle. Earth, Air, Fire, Water. Twin Flame reads to be launched shortly. So it'll be by element for your reading. So if you're brand new, hi. And I'll get them on the road and we'll be live next week for the Members Hub. Okay, so it's the beginning of each new month and the end of the month. That's okay, Big Casino. Okay. Now, if you guys were feeling, last message of the day, if you're feeling you're too old for this crap, your body, your physical well-being, like everything else, is profoundly affected by beliefs you hold. And so, as you get older, most of you seem to degenerate. Remember, self-value is coming up, self-worth. Older people often do experience more illness and less vitality. But the reason for this decline of people as they get older is not because their physical bodies are programmed to break down over time, but because the longer they live, the more they find to fuss and worry about. Stop causing resistance to the natural stream and well-being. Illness is about resistance, not about age. Illness is not about resistance, not age. Infinity, 8. So if you are telling yourself those false fulfilling prophecies, don't do that. If you are resisting this and you're, I'm going to find another partner, go do such. But, you know, as I said, energy will come up. You're a twin. Your twin flame and your blockage in your chakra is yin to the yang, masculine and feminine. If that, you're still going to clear the energy, okay? So the avoidance of self, it'll come up with any connection. You're free to choose whoever you want. It doesn't actually feel that way towards the end pocket of it. You actually realize it's futile. What would you like to know, Antonella, before I go? What would you like to know? My neck hurts. Hi, True Heart. I'm just pulling a card and then we're going to have to hit the road. I ran late today. I have not had 5 to go to the shop, and I am tired of wearing the same clothing. I am going crazy. Last few years, I haven't really bothered buying anything new because it is not my style. And I had found a shop that actually had heaps of different colours, styles, casuals, dressy, and I was like, I'm grabbing it before they sell. Because very rarely in Western Australia do we get anything half decent unless you go online. So I just, went with that. And it's like, no, it's got to the point I have to. I had to. I just didn't think it was going to take that long. My daughter ran late. Okay, what was the question, Antonella? Because it depends on the context of what's coming through. Number one, I did see something to do with balance and contract and fair to do with it. The other is you fearing you're going to leave it. But it's all within your power of what you wish to do. Because there's instability here. But it all comes down to how you're going to address it. Not what it is, what you want it to be. But at the moment, there's still instability. Okay? So it's going to have to be addressed, or it's going to, towards Uranus and Taurus, it'll be worse. From your zodiac sign, it is to do with your contract sector. Uranus and Taurus hits your seventh house, from your zodiac. And for those of you that don't know, I do astrology, and it's also, I do know her as a friend and a client. So it will be, with the square, your social responsibility, which falls in your 4th house. It will be, you'll have things going on. It's your values, it's your routine, what steps are you taking to do that contract. But there's going to be difficulty there between home routine, and your ability to do that. And we have the square occurring on June 14th. Okay? It's not, Mars will be in Leo. So again, it's your career. You have the energy too, but you need to decide correctly if you have it or if you don't. But it's pour your energy into the correct cup. You have energy to do it, but do you have the spirituality and the emotion for it? That's what counts. It's body, mind, and soul. Okay? Love and light. Take care.